Hello, my friends. Hmm. Hmm. So as I'm looking at you, I'm recognizing familiar faces and seeing new faces. I feel my breath going, ah. So I invite you to just notice what it's like to look at other people who would be willing to connect with you and what it means to you today to have people connect with you. What's the feeling of connection? And also, I'd love to have you start or continue by tuning into where in you is most wanting connection. And then let your body tell you, because your mind might have a different idea about that, but just feel into, sense into where in me is most wanting connection. And then what I would like you to do is to reach out into your big love pool and bring some love in and let it connect with a sense of being with rather than changing or controlling or fixing or making better, all of those things that we're taught to do. What would it be like to just simply connect? And as I was telling you that, I could feel that my connection wants to happen both places. It wants to happen in my back and in my front. And then I'd like to invite you to let your breath come from the inside to meet your touch. So connecting with yourself from the inside with your breath and from the outside with your touch. And I invite you to just be there for a little bit because we have such a kind of hit and run culture. Like, okay, I noticed you. Okay, now fix yourself and let me move on to the next thing. So letting yourself simply be with. And now I can feel my hands want to change. They don't want to go anywhere else, but they want to just shift positions. So let yourself now, I'm going to take a couple more breaths here. I can feel myself just settling. And so notice if there's anything in you that's been wanting to settle. It's been feeling, I've been having, personally just sort of a lot of frazzle and, underlying sadness and, pissed off at so many people who are effing up the planet. And so that kind of agitation. So when I actually just let myself settle, I realized that underneath that is this sense of both wonder, it's a whole bunch of stuff, wonder, despair, uh, sadness, tired, little bits of excitement. So give yourself a chance to just notice the multitudes inside. So I want to invite you to do some love scoops, just kind of gather in all those multitudes. Just gathering him in, like, okay, it's okay for you to be here. And how many different sensations can you let be there in the presence of you, in the wholeness of you? Hmm. The underlying, the background, and then what else wants to come. Oh, I see somebody has their hand up. So, no, not anymore. Okay. That was interesting. And that feeling into all of the multitudes that are going on in you, I'd like you to then let your attention, your love scoop go out to around you. And that could be to your community, it could be to friends, it could be to your front yard, it could be to people who are across the world. And I'd like you to see if you could let that attention to multitudes be going out now. that you can presence with just the multitudes of, different attitudes and different feelings that are going on, to simply acknowledge, to let your attention acknowledge. There's such a pull. I feel a pull to contract and go back into my cave and just pull the covers over my head and just go, that's all I can do today. And so let yourself love scoop your own personal little cave. So just bring in your own personal blankets. It's okay for you to use props. So I think it's really important for us to give physical expression to creative expression. And so if you're wanting to go inside the cave, just go ahead and let yourself do that. I feel like I should be in the Addams family. I'm the ghost in the Addams family. So you can let yourself be in your cave and also be reaching out. You could be peeking out of your cave and then going back in again. I kind of like this. This is fun being in here. It was reminding me of a poem that I memorized when I was about 5 years old. And the part of it that I remember is, I'm hiding, and no one knows where, because all they can see is my toes and my hair. And I just heard my father say to my mother, but darling, she must be somewhere or other. So the hiding from, but then also wanting to be found. And so what if you're hiding, you could find yourself with your own love and just presence. Like, if all I can see is your toes and your hair, I know you're there and I love you just how you are. Just how you are. And find something out there that's been difficult for you to love as it is. And let your attention go back and forth between how it is and how you feel about it. And how it is, to the best of your seeing how it is, and how you feel about it. And that you can give attention to both. So I, realize that I've been holding out for something to be different before I give it attention. And I realize it's not ever going to be different unless I give it attention. So something that you've been withholding your attention from because it's not, you don't like it. You don't like the way it's been going. You don't like how it is happening. And let yourself go ahead and give love scoops to the way that feels. Because often we think, when I give attention, I must calm down. Well, what if you gave attention, it liberated a rant, and letting yourself just go ahead and rant. So we have the cave, and on the other end of that, we have the rant. And just go ahead, since you're muted, go ahead and let yourself just and just rant. But like, I cannot believe here we are again. Ooh, that was fun. I really like that. Oh, it really loosened up my jaw. And then I'd like you to give yourself love scoops for ranting, because there's probably in there a just calm down now, honey, just calm down. And I'm pretty much decided I'm finished calming down. I think it's time to rev up and not calm down. So giving yourself love and love scoops for the rising up of energy in you that is wanting to be expressed. Yeah, because my sense is that what we're needing to activate on the planet right now is the power that's held up in our anger. And when our anger is confused with fight, fear, fight, we can't really access the power of anger, which comes up our back fear comes up the front of our body. So, and that was part of why I had my hand on my back and my front. And I just had the thought, I'm beginning to discern even more the difference between fear, fight, and anger. Got to mobilize to do something different. So I invite you to give attention to the front of you, doing some love scoops and letting your loop of awareness come into the front of you and feeling, how do you know that it's fear fight? For me, it's a little raggedy and has kind of a feeling to it, a kind of whereas, and then I'd like you to tune in, and you can love scoop like you're swimming. You can love scoop to your back, and the difference of energy moving up your back and out through your hands, that whoa. So for me, there's there's an engine of intention, a whoa, that has a very different feeling than the fear fight. And one thing I want to invite you to do this week and going forward is just simply, when you're doing love scoops or you're giving attention to yourself, tune into, is this fear fight or something else? And particularly, is this fear fight or my anger? See, anger, just go ahead and let that, whoa, your hackles, whoa, that's built in. That's wired into us. We get angry when there's a trespass. We get angry when there's a fundamental unfairness. And there's a whole bunch of fundamental unfairness going on right now. And so if you're trying to calm yourself down, your body's going to tell you. You can get headaches. You can get this feeling of just gnarliness. You could snap at people. But what would be, let yourself play with letting your hackles come out, and then noticing, where would you like to act? Where would you like to direct that anger that could make a difference? So I use mine to sign petitions, to make calls, to create videos that help people to discern. I also use it to let myself know that as we all gather together, our combined anger can actually change things. So when you find yourself getting wimping, limping, crimping, that you're probably in your fear zone. And I want you to let yourself contact. In fact, this would be a good one to use root to let yourself feel your paws, the paws of your feet spreading out and really moving into the ground, and feeling the energy of the ground coming up your back. Wow. Let yourself just play with that for like Mother Nature. You're like, whoa, you're gonna and I feel incredibly invigorated by just letting myself have that expression. It may not be the only expression I have, but I think it's so important for us to let that move through us so that we're activating all of our energy rather than trying to control and calm down. So wonder if you'd let yourself this week do some friendly ranting, some more discerning between, is this fear or is this anger? And let's love scoop for all of the things that we're not aware of that we can still love. All of the beginnings and the endings and the wonderings. That I can give my presence and my love to that. And thank you so much for being here today. I always wait to just see what wants to come through. And so thank you for co-creating. It's our presence with each other that co-creates. So mwah. Until next time, happy ranting.
Happy ranting.
Thank you. Bye now.